The key to the doggone black woman is in her full potential as the goddess, she can never be tamed. See, it's no compromise. If you try to tame her, you shut her down. Then she's just a shell of a woman or a slave. So there ain't no compromise. She's chaos. That's why you ain't figured this shit out. The key to the doggone black woman is in her full potential as the goddess, she can never be tamed. See, it's no compromise. If you try to tame her, you shut her down. Then she's just a shell of a woman or a slave. So there ain't no compromise. She's chaos. That's why you ain't figured this shit out.
That you want to no. Here's why I don't date black women. Listen to me when I'm talking to you lot.
I'm listening.
Because you lot don't like to listen. I don't date black women because you don't like to get put in your place.
Which place?
Your place.
Which
and when you
place?
get put in your place, you think you got taught like a man.
That's why they were cheating on you then.
You're not men.
That's why they were
Watch
cheating
this.
on you.
Stay in your place.
Cheated on you multiple
Black women-
times.
Yeah, I know.
Because
I know.
you
And
put
that's
no one
why
in
I'm
their
never
place.
going to be in your
That's why you
ever
had to
again.
dip out the pool.
I'm not with black women
control
because you don't like to get put in your place.
Apologies,
Listen,
sir.
listen.
Apologies.
Where?
Apologies.
Oh wait, you just wait. Did she just shoot? Did she just shoot?
What kind of
Did she just shoot? Go. Where's your hair? Where's your hair? Where's your hair?
Once you talk about black women's hair, you're on your own, my guy. You're on your own. I was with you. Like, he's allowed to have a preference. You know, he's trying to talk about how she's held him down and picking up his Asian queen. But the moment you went for the hair, my guy, you was on your own. You're gonna have to deal with it. Yeah. You're gonna have to deal with this by yourself, my bro.
Take off your head,
triggered.
Where's your hair?
You're triggered.
Where's your hair?
Where
I'm
was I
triggered.
supposed to hurt?
I said I was
You're
triggered.
triggered.
Did I not say I was
No.
triggered? Where's your hair?
No.
Where's your hair?
Look at where's your hair?
Show me your hair.
No, he's
Show me your hair.
pressed. He's
Show me your hair.
pressed.
Take off your eyelash.
People, you're pressed.
Take off your eyelash.
You're pressed.
Take off your makeup.
You're pressed because you got
watch this.
cheated on. One, two, three, four.
Where? Watch
One,
this.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
6, 7, 8.
Wait for it.
Jolting.
And I'll bring my natural hair Indian woman in here now.
And then what?
she looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on your glass.
But the
Don't
crowd
shut
was
up,
silent.
man.
The crowd
Out
was
here with
silent.
fake hair, fake
The crowd was silent.
that you want to no. Here's why I don't date black women.
Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honors, and all glories unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, HaKadosh. Double honors to my elders and my apostles of Great Millstone. They're doing it well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the members of the elect. The awful elect of the 132 USA Shalom. This is Brother Dawada from GMC Troy Camp coming at you with another video through the Spirit and Power. Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, HaKadosh. Tell to do another in transit. The title of this video would be Another Reason to Stay Away from the Black Woman. Or it'll be entitled, Stay Away from the Black Woman. The Lord's will this video be edified. Now, quick disclaimer, of course, you have Jake that'll get simple and, oh, you talking about all black women. No. You stay away from the, you know the difference. There's a difference between a so-called black woman that's had her mother and father within her life, as opposed to a black woman that's straight out the hood. A black woman that don't know, how to cook, barely can boil water properly. You know the difference, all right? And even the regular black woman that's had her mother and father in their lives, they're still messed up. They're just less messed up than the ones that didn't have both parents within their lives. You better off dating someone outside of, of the Southern Kingdom. Stay away from Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. All right, Negroes, all right, Jamaicans, Haitians, stay away from them. Get you a Northern Kingdom woman or get you a white woman and be happy. And be happy. You ain't got to deal with this madness. You ain't got to deal with the damn attitude. you know, and the confusion that they love to bring and the hell that they love to put upon you. You got to deal with that madness. You know, you get you a Northern Kingdom woman or you get you a heathen woman and you call that a day and wait till Yahweh Shai comes back. All right? You got to deal with this madness. You know, pursuant to Isaiah the 3rd chapter, they're bald-headed. Yet to this day, she hasn't produced herself some hair as long as that weave that she had on her head. And you saw the degeneracy in that store. You know, with Eve shaking her behinds. You know, and now it's been a new phase. You know, really it's been going on for a while now. All right, but it's even more evident as of late with, you know, women smacking each other on the behind as the other, you know, twerks. It's all degeneracy. And, you know, we need Yahweh Shai to come back and put a stop to this bit of madness. You know, to put a stop and to cease to this empire, to this world. Because, you know, if this society were allowed to continue, it just wouldn't thrive. It wouldn't prosper. You know, it'd only get worse. Right? It'd only get worse. All right? The degeneracy right now, degeneracy is at an all-time high. Right? And if you're not a complete degenerate like these people around you, then they come up against you. As it's written, he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. Here it is, you didn't been involved in that lifestyle where, you know, we've been degenerates. We've all been involved in that. But through the power of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua, we've repented and we've came into this knowledge of truth, and we're trying to do the right thing according to these scriptures, right? We're trying to live by this word, right? We're trying to be amongst those, all right, who follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. The Lamb is Yahweh Shai. How do we follow the Lamb? By following his word. Psalm 30 and 4, 30 and 7. All right, for lo, I am come in the volume of the book. Right? For lo, I come in the volume of the book, it is written of me. So we're trying to do to the best of our ability the bidding of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai, all right, which is listed within these scriptures. But now that we try to do the right thing, all of a sudden we've become a prey. Right? Now people want to come up against us. They want to pick on us. They talk shit about us, including our family members, including our close friends in the world. The scriptures speak about that. And, right? It says that how does it go? I want to say that it's in Corinthians somewhere. But basically, roughly paraphrasing, it speaks about how, it's in Peter, I believe. You know, how we put off the former conversation, all right? The old man with his deeds. It speaks about how we repented, came into this thing through the power of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai, and, certain the people that we, and the people around us that were once, very close to us, or, we participated in wickedness with, they see that we no longer run to the same excess of riot. All right, we no longer do those things that we did in the world. And it says what? Speaking evil of you, because they talk shit about us. And all we're doing is trying to do the right thing to the best of our ability. And people come up against us. People talk shit about us. So, going back to the main point, steer clear away from these black women. They've led many a Jake man into going astray. All right? Then why settle? You can have something better. Why deal with the so-called black woman's attitude? It says in Isaiah 3 that she's haughty, meaning she's proud, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes. Stretched forth necks, they're proud as all hell. They'll be looking down on you, literally, walking as if they were a peacock, all right, or an ostrich with his head held high, with his eyes, with the head high, like the head's leaning back some, and they'll be looking down on you with their eyes. You'll see them. You go to your major downtown areas, you'll see people walking just like that, head up high. You'll see women walking just like that. You stay clear away from the black woman. That's the best thing you can do. Why settle? What do they bring? You like flavor? You like that spice and that energy? so-called black woman has, guess what? Northern Kingdom has the same thing. You get you one of them. All right? You get you one of those. You got the Puerto Rican woman, you got the Mexican woman, so-called, the Brazilian woman, so-called. All right? You got Northern Kingdom. You like that spice, you go and get that. You know? And if you go get you a Puerto Rican woman, you stay away from the ghetto ones. Because they can be just as bad as the so-called black woman. Just as bad. All right? Get you a decent, Puerto Rican, a decent Simeonite woman. And Simeonite woman be fine. Beautiful. You may like them fair-skinned, those so-called black women. Get you a Simeonite. You get the flavor and you get the looks with the real hair. You ain't got to settle. Right? Scripture says many have ran out of their wits for women. Right? Many have ran out of their wits for women. Okay? You ain't got to be all, oh my God, all I know is a black woman. That's all I'm going to go for. No, you can do better. So do better. Get you something else. You pray to Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai. Did not Abraham pray? Or did not Abraham send his servant, all right, to go and find a wife for his son Isaac? All right, I believe it was a servant that had prayed to Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai, for good success on that journey to find a wife for Isaac. Did not the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through his son Yahushai, by the mouth of his servant, what was his name? Nathan? Did he not tell King David, look, if these were too little, I would have moreover given these such and such things. Such and such things, meaning he would have given King David more women. All right? So, hey, you pray to Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai to send you something decent, and the Lord will send you something decent. You ask the Lord to send you a woman, that's going to be, obedient and, and not give you too hard of a time, because they're going to give you a hard time, but, it ain't going to be nothing like the black woman would. So pray to Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai, and the Lord going to take care of you. The scriptures speak about in Isaiah the 4th chapter how they're going to come anyways. All right? We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. So, women are going to flock when all hell breaks loose to the men of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai seeking protection. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. That's Isaiah 13 and 12. All right? Sluck you. All right? So, Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai is he's gonna elevate his men. And these same black women that are proud as hell, they're gonna come crawling in that day. And certain of them are gonna be rejected. Quite possibly even lots of them. All right? Here it is, they done had, 50, 60, 70 different men in them. And it sounds unbelievable, but that's how these people live. Why settle? The scripture says instead of girdling a rent, she's all types of out of shape. All types of out of shape. So why go for that? Meanwhile, the so-called white woman, she's in the gym putting in work. So-called Latin woman, she's in the gym putting up work. Even the Ishmaelite woman, she's in the gym putting in work. Flat stomach. You may say, well, I like the curvature of Eve. Guess what? The heathen woman got the same thing. And Latin tribes definitely got it. That's why the apostles say, stay away from them, from these hyenas, from these gremlins. Here it is, she don't know how to act. You take her to, a decent restaurant. She wants you to take her to Ruth Chris. She wants you to take her to, you know what I mean? But here it is, she done let, Taekwon get her a few bags of Cheetos and a honey bun, and he still got to handle business. But you got to take her to Ruth Chris. Ain't that crazy? You better off getting you a heathen woman. Or get you Latin tribes, and you call it a night. You know, and just await the coming of Yahweh Shai when he's going to send those 7 women that will take hold of one man. All right? Because when that day comes, it's over with. You can have as many as you like. All right? You're pick of the litter. All right? As they say, you're pick of the litter. You know, you got to deal with their haughty attitudes. There it is. The man on the screen, he was just saying his preference. Like, look, I don't deal with the black woman because she doesn't like to be put in her place. And quite frankly, no woman likes that. On the western side of the world, all right, and even that same toxicity that has came from America has spewed into the eastern side of the world. Where these women, they look at the American woman, they say, oh shoot, I could be liberated. I ain't got to take this. I ain't got to listen to no man. I ain't got to, no, see, I'm liberated. You know? And they wonder why they end up single. They wonder why no one wants them. They wonder why, you know, the men that get with them, they're not decent men. It's always scumbags. And they wonder why. Because you're not submissive. You're supposed to be submissive to a man. You're supposed to be a subject unto him. Subject meaning to be under the rule of. Here it is. It's the same woman that'll tell you, well, you know what? You know, can't nobody put me in my place. Can't nobody tell me what to do. You ain't my daddy. You know what I'm saying? She'll tell you all this, you know. But let it come time for you to, let's say there's a roach in the room or a rat on the floor. Who's she calling? She calling, hey, come get this. And let's say you treat her all like how she claims she wants you to be treated. You know, you're all nice and soft-spoken, and you don't raise your voice. And anything she wants, you get for her, and you rub her feet, and you do all that, she'll leave you. She will fucking leave you. Why? Because she don't want no simp. She claims that she does, but she don't want that. She don't want that. She want a man that's gonna be a leader, that's gonna tell her no, that's gonna be disciplined. And tell her, no, you see, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? That's not afraid to speak his mind. That's not afraid to put her in order. And not afraid to leave. Men like that is what she knows that this society tells her, no, you got to avoid men like that. But she knows that's exactly what she needs. Because a man like that brings order. And women don't like that. You know? But if you find you a woman that ain't got a problem with order, then that's a good one. But if you're wondering, well, how do I know which one is going to be more reasonable to order? Stay away from the black ones. That's the best word of advice. Stay away from the black ones. Latin tribes, they grow up knowing, okay, this is how you cook. They at least know how to cook. They know how to clean, right? They got the flavor and the salt just like how Eve does, the so-called black woman. All right? Same thing. But guess what? They're more submissive. You know? They're more submissive and they're more traditional too. Okay? They know that, okay, yeah, I'm supposed to cook for a man. I'm supposed to, you know, they know this. All right? Same thing with a white woman. White women know what it is. They'll be in the kitchen. They'll put some shit together for you. You know? But the so-called black woman, no, why I gotta cook for you? I'm not your mama. Here it is, but then you stay away from the black woman. That could go on and on. Read Sirach 25, Sirach 26. All right? And like the title says, she cannot be tamed. And another title, she will not be tamed. Ain't no discipline in these so-called black women. You leave them alone. Leave them for the streets. All right? And once again, there's your twos and fews. You have exceptions to the rule. If you so find you an exception where she's, somewhat reasonable and she's willing to listen to you and she don't give you too hard of a hard time because they all give you a hard time. You get you a decent black woman, guess what? You done found an exception to the rule. Right? But for the majority of these black women, just, hey, I think the video says enough. The video says enough. Now, there was a certain celebrity, the guy that starred in Luke Cage, all right? And Luke Cage, meaning the one that's on Netflix. And he's, when he did the film, or the series, he was dating a so-called white woman. I remember they put him on this little TV show or whatever, talk show. He's talking about the new season and, talking about the show and going into his personal life. Of course, the woman asked him, like, hey, who are you dating? How's it going? Whatever. And he, I think they showed a picture of her, and she was a so-called white woman. And in the crowd, it was nothing but black women in there. You could tell they had a problem with him being with a so-called white woman. And you know that he was catching flack from the so-called black woman because it's a strong black man. And he doesn't have a strong black queen. Oh, no. And what did he say? He said, look, this woman, she was down with me and down for me in college. And when I didn't have money, she was giving me money. She was taking care of me when I didn't have shit. So, I stuck it out with her. But you say the same thing around the so-called black woman. She'll look at you as a traitor. Stay away from the black woman. When you down, she'll kick you further down. She don't uphold you. She's going to grab one precept since I've reached my destination, and that'll be it. Sirach 26. And 23. Oh, no. Sirach 26 and 27. A loud crying woman is a scold and shall be sought out to drive away the enemies. Okay? Verse 26. A woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all. But she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly of all. We see many examples of this scripture here taking place. You go to your supermarket, the woman will be disrespecting her man in public or period. The Lord, he got something coming to these women. It's called adversity. They're going to be made to face reality. All praise, honors, and glories to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahshua, the blood of my apostles and elders. Peace, blessings to the elect. Shalom.